politics starting in Chicago made the year's big story when the Republicans thundered, "We like Ike." Adlai Stevenson for us, answered the Democrats, and the battle went to the polls with results long to be remembered, though the electorate's thrill was tempered by the knowledge that a great man went down to defeat. But in 1952, the American people wanted a change, and they brought it about with a landslide victory for General of the Army Dwight D. Eisenhower. But in Korea, the din was of battle. Followed by the hush of the battle-weary. 25,000 GIs fell, making our total in the war nearly 130,000. And for Korea, it was a year of frustration when the Reds deadlocked the truce talks by their stand on the exchange of prisoners. Carrying out his sensational campaign promise, the president-elect visited the unhappy peninsula, talking to its president and conferring with the United Nations commander, General Mark W. Clark. At the front, he ate with a GI marked for death on the battlefield a few days later. His press conference in Korea on his return from the front was an unforgettable moment of history.
Much can be done, in my opinion, to improve our position. Much will be done.
In England, death made the headlines when King George VI, in frail health since he underwent an operation for the removal of a cancerous lung, died in his sleep at Buckingham Palace. Recalled from Africa, the oldest daughter of the dead monarch became Queen Elizabeth II, the sixth woman to rule Britain. And Winston Churchill wrote this epitaph: King George VI goes to meet his maker, respected as a man and as a prince far beyond the many realms over which he reigned. For the first time, troops were maneuvered with an A-bomb blast. Huddled in 4.5-foot foxholes, they will enter the target zone within an hour. This was our 26th atom bomb, and it was followed by the first successful hydrogen bomb blast, a force 10 times more powerful than this, and which is said to have liquidated an island. General Matthew B. Ridgway succeeded General Eisenhower as Supreme Commander, Allied Powers Europe. He came to shape from Japan, where he had succeeded General Douglas MacArthur. The United States and Denmark made a joint headline when they revealed that this huge strategic air base was being built at Thule in northwestern Greenland. A hop, skip, and jump, or 930 miles by air to the North Pole. And here's the breathtaking beauty of the top of the world, with Russia just over the rim. And a new queen of the seas, the liner United States, won Atlantic supremacy for the U.S. for the first time in a century. Proud that its jet airplanes were the best in the world, England was still prouder of pilot John Derry, here taking off with his observer Tony Richards. And at this greatest of English air shows, British airplane builders were allowing the public its first hearing of the crashing of the sound barrier. Listen. Seconds later, the sleek de Havilland 110 disintegrated, and here you see its motors and parts hurtling to spread death on a hillside. Death's toll 28, including Derry and Richards. The disaster that overwhelmed the flying enterprise off the coast of England allowed the world to thrill to an inspiring exhibition of human courage in the face of adversity. And Captain Henry Kurt Carlson became the hero of the day, though Davy Jones got his ship. California's most violent earthquake since the one that destroyed San Francisco in '06 was felt over a 100,000 square mile area, and 12 died during its convulsion. A month later, another centered at Bakersfield, causing 2 deaths and 20 million damage. In 1952, Northern California was hit by the worst snowstorm in half a century, and Donner Pass in the high Sierras became a trap which for 3 days held 222 passengers and crew of a crack flyer. The great rotary plow finally got through, and all were saved, none the worse for their harrowing experience. A year wouldn't be worthy of its days without beauty making a splash. So 1952 came up with the annual concentration of same at Atlantic City. The loveliest of all being a peach from the Macon, Georgia peach country, Neva Jane Langley, your Miss America for 53. While at Asbury Park, New Jersey, the girls who've already got their men vied to become Mrs. America. In spite of her experience, she couldn't take it, but she revives in time to take the crown. Meet Mrs. Evelyn Schenck, Mrs. America. And last but not least, we give you Marilyn Monroe, the brightest star in the 1952 heavens. Good heavens!